The EFF is forcibly removed from Parliament before the presidency budget vote gets underway. 13 schools set alight by angry Vuwani residents in Limpopo. Hello and welcome to it. You're watching Enews Direct. I'm Duduzile Ramela.
And I'm Sandy Legangose. Good evening.
To comment on any of our stories, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook. That's at Enews Direct.
You can also track our main stories using the following hashtags: Vuwani and President Budget.
We start with this. It's been another eventful day in Parliament. The EFF was thrown out of the National Assembly after objecting to President Jacob Zuma addressing the House. The President eventually delivered his budget vote this afternoon.
The EFF made it clear from the beginning that it did not want President Jacob Zuma to address the House.
We have written a letter to your good office in relation to the presence of Mr. Zuma, who has been found by the Constitutional Court to have been in breach of his office. No sooner than that, the court set aside his previous issues of the 783 charges of corruption.
But Speaker Baleka Mbete wasn't having it.
On the 5th April, this House considered a motion for the removal of the President. As we all know, the motion did not succeed. There is therefore no basis in law or in terms of the rules for the President not to be allowed to speak in this House today.
However, the EFF would not accept the Speaker's response, and the Parliamentary Protection Services was summoned to forcibly remove the MPs.
How do we know that they are the protection service? They're not wearing uniform.
DA Chief Whip John Steenhuisen called on President Jacob Zuma to apologize to the nation.
We would like to then say that we indeed do want to hear from the President today, and we would like him to start by apologizing to the people of South Africa for violating the Constitution.
When he was eventually able to speak, President Jacob Zuma appealed to the private sector to assist in employing the youth.
Let us all participate in building a better life for our aspirant young entrepreneurs and professionals.
He also said his office is prioritizing the education of farm workers' children.
We are educating the children of peasants who did not spend a single day at school so that their children can become medical doctors, lawyers, captains of industry, or rocket scientists.
Zuma added this is part of government's commitment to turn farm workers into farm owners.
Schooling is in disarray in Vuwani, Limpopo, after angry residents torched 13 schools. The Education Department has been forced to shut down more than 50 schools in the area. Residents are upset after losing a court bid to force the Municipal Demarcation Board to reverse its decision to incorporate the area into Malamulele. They want to remain under the Makhado municipality.
The aftermath of a night of chaos. This is one of 13 schools set alight by angry Vuwani residents. Books and furniture have been destroyed, and the area is a no-go zone.
It's really affecting us because there's no transport here to go to school, so there will be no way for us to be learning because there's no transport taking us to school. So it's really affecting us badly.
And it doesn't end there. Residents also set alight municipal trucks. They've effectively brought this town to a standstill. Stores remain shut and police have cordoned off roads near the local shopping complex.
Violence is not, the best option in such a situation. We'll continue to urge our people in Vuwani to continue, to be law-abiding and refrain from participating in violence actions, but also refrain from intimidating, but also inciting violence in that area.
In a statement, the Basic Education Department has condemned the banning of schools. The violent protests will worsen the situation of the learners who were already negatively affected by the protests in 2015. What makes things worse is that school records get destroyed due to the deliberate burning down of schools. In an attempt to quell tensions, a Limpopo task team set up to deal with the Vuwani matter will meet with all parties on Thursday. But whatever the outcome, it's hundreds of pupils who will bear the brunt of this violence, as they now have no classrooms to return to. Linyaruselo, Vuwani.
Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan says stronger economic growth is one of the country's most pressing challenges. But he is confident the situation will improve, with Treasury able to meet its targets for the financial year. Speaking at the Treasury budget debate in Parliament today, Gordhan also announced a new measure to help stamp out corruption in government departments.
The finance minister is looking at the best way of spending his 1.5 trillion rand budget. Pravin Gordhan admits it's a tricky juggling act as demand for services continues to grow. But he says government is determined to cut costs.
In collaboration with the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation, a series of programmatic expenditure reviews have been undertaken, contributing to a better understanding in a wide range of spending areas, from housing investment to student financial aid to land restitution.
Gordhan says there has already been an improvement in several sectors which will help moderate inflation. But the opposition honed in on the performance of South African Airways.
Doubts remain as to whether National Treasury can hold the fiscal line. And worst of all, Dudu Myeni remains the chairperson of zombie airline South African Airways.
Put SAA on its feet, make sure that it is well governed and well run, and we can then talk about the next stages as we go forward over the next few years.
Gordhan says to help clean up corruption in government departments, a public procurement bill is planned for later this year.
The Treasury remains firmly focused on value for money and accountability in the supply chain management process. Procurement of goods, services and works over the next 3 years will amount to 1.5 trillion rands across all spheres of government. This is an enormous amount of money. Wisely and efficiently spent, it can be a great force for good.
The budget now goes to the National Assembly for approval. Bonga Dlulane, Parliament.
Capitec Bank is facing legal action. It has been accused of reckless lending by Summit Financial Partners. The company says Capitec charges an initiation fee every time a consumer renews a loan, which it says is unlawful. It also claims the bank does not conduct an affordability assessment upon the customer's reapplication. Capitec has refuted the claims and says none of its customers are being exploited, but Summit Financial Partners is not backing off.
It went on when they had advanced 10,000 loans, multi-loans, to Amplat's employees during the 5-month strike period. Now for us, that's obvious that must be reckless lending and certainly not good for the employees and their financial health. As a result thereof, the majority of those employees are now in arrears and have got adverse credit information. So financially, they're disempowered. They can't access a mortgage now. They can't access a vehicle loan because they've got arrears on their 1-month multi-loan, which is charging 300–400% a month.
A quick look at world news now, and Donald Trump has tightened his grip in the U.S. Republican presidential race. His victory in Indiana has forced his rival Ted Cruz to quit. Bernie Sanders defeated Hillary Clinton in the Democrats' Indiana vote, but he still trails Clinton in the all-important delegate count. And a massive wildfire has forced the evacuation of an entire city in Canada. More than 80,000 people in Fort McMurray have been ordered to flee their homes. Alberta has asked other provinces to help fight the fire that now stretches more than 2,500 hectares. Money matters now, and the race to save local jobs is on. Deputy Finance Minister Mcebisi Jonas says the Public Investment Corporation will invest 70 billion rand. The investment is aimed at stimulating local economic growth and job creation. One of Africa's largest investment managers is looking to advance various sectors. These include energy, mining and agriculture over the next 3 to 5 years. Jonas also made it clear that SAA would not be receiving any government assistance until a new board is appointed and a competent CEO and finance chief are put in place. And the bottling battle continues for SAB Miller and Coca-Cola. This time, the companies have agreed to not lay off any of its staff, at least for 3 years. The two bottlers will also invest 800 million rand to support small local businesses. Both firms agreed in November last year to create Africa's largest soft drinks bottler. Coca-Cola Beverages Africa will have annual sales of close to 43 billion rand. The Competition Commission's preliminary approval of the deal included a limit to job cuts of 250. It also wants the companies to make sure they buy cans, glass, sugar and crates from local suppliers. And with that, let's see how the markets performed today. Right, let's check in with the Weather Center. Here's Candice.
Quiet autumn weather has settled in across South Africa at the moment with fine and dry conditions. We're still expecting a bit of cloud in the northeast on Thursday with warmer weather over the eastern part of the country. Overall though, we're expecting a sunny day on Thursday with offshore winds continuing along the west coast still on Thursday morning, and there's a high fire danger warning over the northern part of the Northern Cape. It'll be a warmer day for KwaZulu-Natal on Thursday with lots of sunshine and highs mainly in the mid-20s, or Ulundi with a high of 27. Warmer and sunny for the eastern Cape, mild along the coast with highs heading into the upper 20s over the western part of the province, but with the chilly start of the day over the interior with minimums well into the single digits. The sunshine continues for the western Cape with a warm forecast over the interior, as well as for the Cape Town City Bowl at 28 degrees, mild over the southern part of the province though with highs in the low 20s. We're expecting an offshore component to the wind in the morning, but with some evening fog along the west coast, 31 degrees for Uppington and Sutherland at -3 and 23 degrees. Fine and dry weather extends through to the Free State with a mild to warm afternoon. We're expecting another sunny and warm day for the northwest, Potchefstroom topping 26 degrees. A bit of cloud remains over parts of Limpopo, Zenina 24, Polokwane expecting a maximum temperature of 25 degrees and a minimum temperature of 6. A few degrees warmer for Mpumalanga, Bombela 25 and partly cloudy, mostly sunny at 23 for Secunda, Ermelo and Emakazeni. We're forecasting a sunny day at 23 for Soweto and Vereeniging, in the mid-20s with a mostly sunny day for Johannesburg and Pretoria. We'll see a change in the weather on Friday though, with the possibility of rain from George all the way through to Richards Bay, cloudy and wet along the eastern Cape coastline, and that cloudy and wet weather spreads all the way through to KwaZulu-Natal and eventually the Lowveld on Saturday, with thundershowers in the forecast over the western and central interior. That's all from the Weather Centre for now. Have a great night.
Thank you, Candice. After the break, a taste of exotic from 27 countries at a food expo in Midrand. Welcome back. Now, locals have been given a taste of Thailand at a food and hospitality expo in Midrand.
Indeed, the inaugural event showcases food and drink from 27 countries.
And with 300 exhibitors, the expo is hoping to become one of the biggest food trade events on the continent.
We popped in to sample some of the dishes on offer.
creamy curries and spicy stir-fries. Thai food is a celebration of exotic and pungent flavors amid the Food and Hospitality Africa Expo, where Chef Bank will show us how to make some quick and easy meals you can try at home.
The dish of the day is a spicy grilled beef salad, a traditional Thai meal. It pairs strips of tender sirloin steak, marinated in palm sugar, chili and garlic, with thinly sliced cucumber, carrot, onion and tomato. And it's certainly going down well with Joe Burgers.
I just loved the way that the Thai cuisine really let the individual fresh ingredients shine. You know, especially like the salad, you look at, there's only one cooked ingredient really.
With its light and tasty meals, Thai food is becoming increasingly popular in South Africa.
I first came here in 2009 just to travel. Then I fell in love with the country. Beautiful people, nice weather, you know, and there was like not many Thai restaurants in Pretoria. So I decided to make the proper Thai restaurant.
Banks says if you're looking for an authentic Thai experience, make sure the restaurant has a Thai Select or Thai Premium certification. Lindwe Sitole, Midrand.
Here's a reminder of the day's top stories before we say goodbye. The EFF is forcibly removed from Parliament before the presidency budget vote gets underway. 13 schools set alight by angry Vuwani residents in Limpopo. And that's a wrap from the Enews Direct team.
There's indeed. Rhythm City's up next.
Remember, we do love to hear from you. Send us an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za.
You can just talk to us on Twitter and Facebook, and the handle is @EnewsDirect.
Until tomorrow night, have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.